Hey guys, welcome back to the Political Pulse Show. Make sure you guys like this video down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. So guys, it may actually be happening. Donald Trump's purchase of Greenland. You know, it's been talked about for a long time, but now it finally seems as if the pieces are being put together. The leadership of Greenland, not only have they expressed disillusionment with being tied to Denmark, but now they say they're ready to come to the table and talk with Donald Trump. After all, Trump's been discussing acquiring Greenland for years. He brought it up back in 2019, and it's been talked about on and off ever since. But lately, he's really been hammering the idea home, especially as he's about to take the oath of office in just a few days. This is absolutely huge, and I don't think people fully realize it. When this topic first came up, it was laughed off as a joke. A lot of people on the Democrat side dismissed it as a waste of time, mainly because their knee-jerk reaction to anything Donald Trump proposes is to call it crazy, or out of the box, and automatically oppose it. It's just how those people operate. We know that by now, but still, Trump may actually get it done. He's talked about it, and now it seems closer to reality than ever. The leadership of Greenland has been upset with Denmark for a while. They've expressed a preference for independence, which is something they've openly talked about. Of course, they also said they're not looking to join the US outright. But here's the deal. They truly want independence from Denmark and don't like their current arrangement. It's very unlikely they'll be able to sustain themselves on their own. Greenland has a population of just about 57,000 people. Put that into perspective, that's roughly the same number of people who watched It's absolutely insane, but true. With such a small population, they would likely need subsidies to survive. So if Donald Trump genuinely wants Greenland, there's a good chance a deal could be struck. When you're dealing with such a small population, you could theoretically offer every resident $1 million and essentially buy the island. Of course, that's an oversimplification, but the point remains. Greenland's independence from Denmark and a potential deal with the US isn't out of the realm of possibility. The idea also makes a lot of sense strategically. People who have this knee-jerk reaction to oppose every single thing Trump does aren't really thinking it through. Even John Fetterman, yes, Fetterman, has likened Trump's push for Greenland to the Louisiana Purchase. He's argued that we should have a responsible conversation about it, and like him or not, trust him or not, he's 100% right. Donald Trump is someone who wants to get things done, and he's known for being the master of the art of the deal. Anyone could strike a deal with Denmark and Greenland to make this happen, it's Trump. Securing Greenland as a US territory would bring tremendous benefits. While it's not big enough to become a state, having strategic control of the region would be invaluable. Greenland offers access to key shipping lanes that are opening up as the Arctic thaws. On top of that, the region is rich in natural resources, possibly worth billions. Acquiring Greenland would also allow the US to increase its military presence in the Arctic. Right now, Russia and China are aggressively pursuing the Arctic for its resources and strategic importance. Meanwhile, the US doesn't have nearly as much access. Yes, we have Alaska, but adding Greenland would be a game changer in the North Atlantic region. Canada, of course, has significant control of the region as well. While Trump has occasionally floated the idea of closer economic ties with Canada, or even making Canada a US territory, that seems much less likely. Canada is far more resistant to such an idea, and it would present significant political challenges. Greenland, however, is different. Its leadership isn't happy with Denmark, and many people in Greenland are open to the idea of independence. That creates an opportunity for the US to step in and make a mutually beneficial deal. Historically, there's a precedent for this. Look at Texas. It gained independence from Mexico, became its own country for a while, and then later joined the US. Greenland could follow a similar path, though it's unlikely to ever become a state. The reality is, Greenland probably can't sustain itself alone. A deal with the US can make life better for the people living there, and the resources the US would gain access to, oil, natural gas, and other valuable materials, would be well worth the investment. Critics will argue that we'd be subsidizing people who aren't really Americans, but the return on investment would be tremendous. Another argument is that Trump should be focusing on lowering grocery prices or other domestic concerns instead of pursuing Greenland. But this argument misses the bigger picture. Increasing access to energy, especially oil, would help bring down prices across the board. Energy costs are a major driver of inflation. When Russia invaded Ukraine and the US stopped buying Russian oil, energy prices shot up. which in turn drove up the cost of goods. The US can increase its energy supply by drilling in Greenland. It would help stabilize prices in the long run. This isn't something that would happen overnight, but it's a strategic move that would pay off over time. Greenland is coming to the table, and Donald Trump has been persistent about this. While many laughed it off as a joke in the past, it seems more likely now than ever a deal could be struck that benefits both the US and the people of Greenland, especially given their current discontent with Denmark. It's been a while since we've discussed polls on this channel because the election has been over for a few months, but still we have a very important poll out, none other than Greenland. There's been a lot of discussion about Greenland. Is Trump going to go out there and buy it or annex Greenland? Who knows what's going to happen. But as of late, it's been very true that Greenland is not happy with Denmark currently. There have been a lot of talks about how the leadership of Greenland actually would prefer to be independent. While Greenland's leadership has said they are not, willing to join the US willingly right away, it seems like they are open to discussions with Trump in terms of the future of Greenland. Greenland, probably being an island of 57,000 people, it's funny because more people actually subscribe to Netflix within the first day than the amount of people that live in Greenland. Honestly, they're not going to be able to likely sustain themselves, and they probably would be more willing to join the US at this point. By the way, the poll came out of the University of Copenhagen, which is a Danish pollster. By the way, it's not like this poll would really have the narrative, this is like a Trump poll, a Trump-sponsored poll at Greenland or whatever. According to the poll, 68% of Greenlanders want to become independent, whereas only 32% want to stay with Denmark. So let's say Greenland finally becomes independent. They declare their independence. Then the US can come in, strike a deal, you name it. Denmark is not going to be able to compete. Don't fool yourselves there. They're a very small nation in Scandinavia. The US is the US. They're a power player. When it comes down to the other power players who might swoop into Greenland, you might have something like China, Russia, you name it, one of those powers. In Europe, whether they want us to control Greenland or not, they probably would rather have us in control of Greenland than one of those other powers in control of Greenland overall. So it would make more sense that the US would have all the leverage they need if Greenland wants to be independent for Donald Trump to go out there and take Greenland at some point during his presidency. I don't know when that's going to happen, but this is being talked about. Like I've said, this is a very, very good thing for America. Because yeah, it's true you might have to, subsidize 50-some thousand people, but in return you get all of that land, you have all these shipping lanes that are opening up in Greenland, you also have strategic positioning for military purposes, and also, the resources are absolutely huge. Talk about low energy prices because that's the straw man. Oh, he was elected to lower prices, so he can't do anything else. Well, first of all, don't come in here and lecture us. His voters, on why we voted for him, there's plenty of reasons. That might be part of it, but still, when it comes to Greenland, it actually would lower prices for Americans if we had access to more oil. Like we mentioned, that's kind of why inflation got as bad as it was. Because of the lack of oil, because of the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. The main point is we have a poll out of Greenland that shows that Greenlanders don't want to be a part of Denmark. Then we have another poll out of Greenland. This one is more of a partisan pollster for the Republicans, but they were accurate in 2024. They don't really have a track record in Greenland. I don't even know how they polled Greenland. But they did conduct a poll. It does seem to be a legitimate pollster. This poll from Patriot Polling showed that 57.3% of respondents approve of Greenland becoming part of the United States, which is absolutely huge, whereas 37.4% disapproved of the potential acquisition and 5.3% are undecided about the move. Now some people are going to say, well, this pollster doesn't seem all that accredited or whatever. Well, let's assume that they are. That's an insane split right there. So not only does close to 70% of Greenlanders, according to a poll conducted in Denmark, want to become independent, but also almost all the people that would be open to being independent are also open to becoming part of the United States. I believe that very well could be the case. I don't understand this narrative. You have people mainly on the Democrat side, they're like, oh, we should let our borders be open because everybody wants to be a part of America and we shouldn't stop them. But apparently they also don't think that Greenlanders would like to join America. now they automatically care about their sovereignty. Yeah, that's not entirely how it works. It's not. And you have other people that are like, oh, well, this is just Trump being a neocon or whatever happened to America first. Well, here's the deal. You know, people can debate the Canada thing all they want. I don't think Canada should be the 51st state. I think a territory, would be intriguing, but I don't think it's that likely to happen. I do think it's more just leverage Trump is using in order to get a better trade deal with Canada, because Canada just rips us off relentlessly, and we know that. But when it comes down to it, Greenland would be America first because of the benefits it would provide us. That would be an American first move. The Panama Canal Zone, controlling those trade routes we used to do it. I mean, this used to be a part of our country until Jimmy Carter gave it away. Rest in peace. But still, now Donald Trump wants to go out there and reclaim the Panama Canal Zone. People are freaking out. It's like he's going to have a deal. I don't think he's going to be invading Greenland. He's not going to be invading Panama. But there's a difference between an American first policy and just full-on isolationism. Trump is not an isolationist. He's never been an isolationist. He's a realist. He's not a, neocon. He had a lot of neocons around him in his first term, but now it seems like there's a lot less of them, which is a great step in the right direction. These endless wars that are not for our benefit, where we send all this money overseas to the Middle East, to Eastern Europe, that's not America first. We should be working to de-escalate these conflicts. Trump sees the best realistic way to do that as being a strongman on the world stage, and that's great. When you look at this notion of, oh, America first means you have to be a full-on isolationist, it's like, no. Even the Monroe Doctrine said that North America, we have full reign to do whatever we need to do on this side of the world. And that's exactly what Greenland and the Panama Canal Zone would do. It would reorient foreign policy to the Monroe Doctrine, the way that it was pre-World War I, the way that it was for over 100 years, or just about 100 years or so. I think it's a very great thing. You have a lot of people that will root for Trump to fail, and they're like, oh, well, this is a bad idea. Why is he doing this? It's like, first of all, you can walk and chew gum at the same time in terms of people who claim that. Oh, he should be focused on other things? I mean, he's just having fun before he's going to be inaugurated. Like, what do you want him to be doing right now? He's doing a lot of stuff as it stands now. But you can hate the idea, but you can't stop it from happening. Remember they would call Alaska Seward's Icebox because a member of Lincoln's cabinet? It was Andrew Johnson's cabinet at the time because Lincoln passed away, was assassinated, but they called Alaska Seward's Icebox as a joke. And now we have Alaska, so the joke is on them. We have access to all this oil. Greenland is Donald's icebox. I think it's kind of funny, and it's kind of ironic. And again, you want to whine about it now. Don't buy land there 5 years from now, because that's going to be a lot of people that probably will. People will talk about, will Greenland ever be a state? Probably not. Too small, and honestly, too liberal. They're going to get probably a non-voting representative in Congress if they do become a U.S. territory, which I believe they will at this point. But it's like, yeah, I don't really see Greenland becoming a state unless a bunch of people decide to move up there the same way we saw with Alaska. Then Alaska became a state. So it just really depends. But those resources are huge. A lot of people know it. And even the House GOP, they're crafting a bill to let Donald Trump purchase Greenland. Dusty Johnson from South Dakota introduced a bill last week. He's more of like a rhino type guy, but still, even he's on board to authorize talks to repurchase the Panama Canal Zone. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene introduced a bill that would have the Gulf of Mexico renamed the Gulf of America on official documents and maps. And then you have Andy Ogles from Tennessee introducing a 2-page Make Greenland Great Again Act, authorizing Trump to enter negotiations with the Kingdom of Denmark to secure the acquisition. I don't even know if you would ever need a bill. It's more of a symbolic bill, but still, it shows that there's a lot of support for it. And honestly, this should be a bipartisan thing. John Fetterman is on board. Obviously, he met with Donald Trump previously. Trump praised him and vice versa. I don't know what's going on there, but still, this is something that would benefit the country. But you have so many people who are just TDS ridden, on certain corners of the online right, but obviously the left, which is more prevalent in Congress, more prevalent in the real world. They're just opposing it because, oh, it's Trump's idea. Even though it's technically not. It's been talked about for decades. It's been an idea that's been praised for decades. Nobody's been able to get it done. Now it's a bad idea because Trump is somebody that actually wants to get it done because he knows how to make deals. He's effective, and they don't like that about him. Kind of why you see a lot of this pushback. But still, you know, Greenland, the polls are showing it. The people of Greenland want it. The United States want it. You know, we all have that leverage. We have all the leverage. Just get it done. Make Greenland great again. Make Greenland a part of America. Manifest destiny. Let's get it done. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button so you never miss another episode. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, and if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/EWLedger. As always, your support helps the channel grow, upgrade our equipment, bring in new hosts, be able to pay them, and take the show on the road. As always, thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time.